This was a weird game of cricket, right? When you really think about it, the amount of different players that could have been player of the match, right? Like, had RCB won, Virat Kohli might have got it for the run out as much of his runs, right? Trent Bolt, we've got him right here, started the game absolutely beautifully with the ball and set up a game that Rajasthan were in front of pretty much all the way through. Riyan Parag, Jaiswal, both of those guys also had other claims to being players of the match. Not to mention Rodman Powell, who took like 1 million catches in this game and also ended up hitting the winning runs. And while Bolt was really good and the rest of the bowlers were really bad, I just want to focus in on Ashwin because I think his part in this game was absolutely huge. And I want to explain a few different reasons why that was the case.
If you need a VPN, go Nord. Use nordvpn.com/Kimber to get a 2-year contract with a discount, plus 4 extra months, plus gifts in some markets. It's completely risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. The link is in the show notes. Protect your computer like a blocker protects the stumps with NordVPN today.
The first thing is, look at how many balls he bowled to right-handers today. He got a little bit stuck from a game perspective because quite often he'll get one right-hander and one left-hander and he's fine because he's Ashwin and he eats the souls of left-handers. Today he bowled 22 balls to right-handers. That is an extraordinary amount of balls. And because of that, and the fact that the ball seemed to be spinning a lot more for wrist spinners than it was for finger spinners, he wasn't getting all that much lateral movement and he was bowling against the players that usually give him the most problem. Like, if you have a look at this here, this is him against left-handers. He's taking wickets at about par and he's almost a run and over better than he should be. He's fantastic, right? He doesn't bowl to them that much. You can see it's only 4 wickets. Shall we just take the long journey down to here to how he's against right-handers. Before today, 3 wickets. He was going at 0.6 runs and over worse against them, and he almost took a wicket less than you would expect when going up against them. You can say whatever you want about Ashwin, the player, the IPL player specifically, but when it comes down to it, Ashwin doesn't want to bowl to these guys ever. He will do it, and in Test cricket, he's fantastic, and he will sometimes find a way, but he wants to be over here. But today, he was stuck over here. And so because of that, he had to change his method, right? The ball's not spinning all that much from him. Maybe it was holding and occasionally sliding, so he had some of that. But this is his balls this year to right-handers in the red and left-handers in the yellow. You could see how many times he's actually got red over in this bit over here. He's more than willing to bowl very, very defensively against right-handers. He bowled so defensively today that I don't know which ball it is, but let's just say it's this one over here. He bowled a ball intentionally down the leg side, and Cameron Green was supposed to leave it and somehow padded up to it like he was in a test match facing Shane Warne. It was one of the more remarkable things. But the other thing is that when Ashwin bowls to right-handers, when the ball is out here, he is attacking. When the ball is in here, he's trying to intentionally bowl runs. And I know that sounds weird, but if you watch him and Sunil Narine, and I think Sunil Narine maybe, if not invented this, then certainly perfected this method of bowling 4 singles. Essentially trying to bowl into your hip. So you can't really play another shot all that comfortably. You get a little bit cramped, and that's what he does. Look at him against left-handers. He doesn't have to worry about that. Occasionally he goes wide if he's trying to drag them away from hitting him to the leg side, but he is attacking the stumps and the outside edge over and over again. But you can see just how many balls the right-handers are pitching on the stumps and spinning down, or just pitching outside leg on purpose. This is a man with a plan against right-handers, and that plan is stopping them from scoring. So let's have a look at this bowling map of how people actually score against Ashwin, because this is incredibly fascinating. We start here, and you can see at the top, he is 7% worse than others when it comes to dot balls. You see that a lot with finger spinners. Finger spinners usually get rotated a little bit more. And then you've got the ones, and you can see that is where a lot of this is going. People score 1s off him, and they score 2s, and occasionally 3s, but mostly 2s off him at a very big rate. So he's a negative bowler when it comes to dots, a negative bowler when it comes to singles, and a negative bowler when it comes to 2s. What about 4s? When it comes to 4s, he's slightly better than par, but he's not magnificent at it, but he is above par. Let's just come up here to 6s. He's 26% less likely to hit a 6 from the balls that he's facing than what we expect in our database for a finger spin. in the IPL who generally bowls to right-handers. This is absolutely remarkable. And so what Ashwin has worked out, and probably from players like Sun or Ryan, but also Ashwin is a genius on his own, is fine, I don't need to bowl dot balls. What I really need to do is make sure that I get hit for singles and twos. And so much so that players are looking at doing that off me. And against fours, I can pretty much hold my own. But they're not going to get under me. They're not going to get balls that they can just launch away with slog sweeps or run down the wicket and play. And you look at him here, he doesn't bowl to death. He doesn't bowl much in the power play, which he's had success at. He's a middle overs player, and he's a middle overs player where he's going at half a run better on true economy than what you would expect. Now, he doesn't take a lot of wickets in this point, but he's not trying to. He's trying to stop right-handers specifically from scoring boundaries off him. Sixes definitely, fours if he can. And he does a ridiculously good job at this. Partly because he's an evil genius, and partly just because he's really talented. In fact, it's mostly because he's an evil genius. He's just so much smarter than other players. But let's have a look specifically at his pitch map today. Remember, the vast majority of these balls, except for 2 of them, are against right-handers. And yet, wait a minute, why is an off-spinner pitching the ball outside leg stump? Why is he doing this? Because he is trying to hit their pad. He's trying to hit their hip. And if he misses their pad or their hip, he is trying to get them to turn the ball around the corner for 1. That's not an easy ball to hit for 6. It cramps up your room. It's hard to get under it, and it slides onto you. But what he was really special at is we've got the 2 wickets here as well. When he wanted to attack today, he bowled a different kind of delivery. A lot of these balls over here were either quicker balls or off spin. But then just occasionally, when he had built up the pressure from the dot balls or from the singles, he would bowl a ball that spun the other way to the right-handers back in an attacking zone, right? And he bowled Karen balls on a good length for a spinner, just at an outside off stump, and allowed the players to swing across. They're not over-pitched. They're not short. They're right in that middle ground. So when he bowls an attacking ball, it's in the middle ground. Quite often when he bowls a defensive ball, it's when it's a lot shorter. All of this is on purpose. Everything that you see here is completely on purpose because he can land the ball pretty much wherever he wants every delivery. Yes, he might slide one a little bit too far down leg side, or he might be thinking the batter is going to back away. And yes, some of these balls may not look great compared to where he would land them all in a test match, but that's because the batter is moving around the crease or he needs a different kind of ball. But when he wants to attack, he lands the ball on the length, exactly the line that he wants, and when he wants to defend, he puts it there and slides it into your pads. But there's one final thing I also want to talk about. Ashwin in the IPL playoffs. I think the IPL playoffs are an ideal time for him to bowl because all year people have a freedom. You're allowed to run down and hit the spinners. Have a look at Sanju Samson's shot against Khan Sharma. If he plays that any other time of the year, we all go, maybe not the ideal shot, but not the end of the world. He plays it in a chase knockout game, and we're all like, what are you doing? Why are you coming down to Khan Sharma? He's going to drop the ball short anyway. Ashwin bowling defensive at this point allows him to build up extra pressure. RCB didn't know whether to attack or defend. They didn't know whether to just hit him out of the attack or just score singles off him. And when he built up the pressure with singles or dot balls, he then attacked. And you look at this, there's a handful of games here where he's gone for runs. Look, he's an off spinner in the IPL. Occasionally, he's going to go for runs. But look at the vast majority of his work in this good defensive bowling position. This is kind of what you expect of Ashwin. Maybe he takes a wicket, maybe he doesn't. But he keeps the runs down and puts pressure on. Just occasionally, he has a game where he does not go for any runs at all. But then look at this. He's not a wicket taker. Yet in these games, he's managed to have 5 big games. And you can see here, 3 times he's taken 3 wickets and twice he's taken 2 wickets. And also, these are all really economical. This is because what Ashwin does better than anyone else is just create pressure, and these games already have pressure. He's probably a better IPL playoff bowler than he is a regular season one. And I'm not talking about his numbers because he'll still have really good numbers in the regular season. But when it comes down to it, Ashwin knows how to turn the dial up, and he knows how to use your insecurities against you. This doesn't look like the greatest pitch map that he's ever done. And within this, the defensive balls are perfect. The attacking balls are perfect. Every single note he plays is as it should be. And what a day to do it. Because Sandeep didn't work. Avesh took some wickets but didn't work. Chahal again got hit for runs. It was only the 2 old guys who were greats in other formats of the game who managed to turn up. And Ashwin may not be player of the match, but he was certainly the evil supervillain of this game.
If you make any content, Minvo Pro is the tool for you. Take your long format content and cut it and slice it for social media. This AI-inspired weapon will turn your one piece of work into so many clips. Try Minvo.pro now.